Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
From pixel legends to blockbuster flicks, join right in. It's time to join John Wick, which we're actually not talking about today.
Those are the new words, right?
Yes, exactly. So something just popped out that I think we need to talk about.
Is it going to take you 18 years to pay for?
No, it's going to take you 19 seconds of your life to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you mean.
So there's a new game coming out, evidently, that I think everybody needs to know about. I'm going to go ahead and share it right now. That would be this. It's called, it's now the new Super Smash Brothers. You might want to check this out. Choose your fighter. This is our proud government at work right now.
Yes.
There's nothing finer than this. This tells me that they are on top of making a difference in our country. So I don't know who you would choose.
Okay, look, can you rewind it? Oh, I was
Go back and play it again.
Go back and play, but we're going to stop it at certain spots.
Okay. Because I have more to say about one of them.
All right, yeah. So I'll talk about one, you talk about one, or whatever. We'll
tell me where to stop.
Right. It's gonna be, I think, right here.
You're gonna stop on AOC.
AOC. So now, out of all of the people in this video, she is the most recognizable. She's the one who, love her or hate her, thinks she's smart or not, she has the brightest future out of all the people here. This lighting sucks.
Dude, she looks like she's in a brothel.
That's her apartment.
That's her apartment?
Yes. She has zebra skin, zebra pattern everywhere, which shows that she's got the mentality of a 19-year-old girl. And she's in her 30s. You got to grow up at some fucking point. The zebra print doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. She needs, number one, to see maybe a stylist, which I think she might see one, but she's getting like this business stuff. But she needs somebody to come, like an interior decorator, to come to her house and fucking fix this mess.
What she needs to do is she needs to take that lamp completely out and just put a pole in, and then it's going to look the part better.
Exactly. It would look like the strip joint that it is. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, she's pretty.
She is?
She is. She actually is I think she's probably one of the most attractive people in Congress, which isn't saying much. That's like being the most attractive person at the retirement home. You know, she needs better lighting. Somebody has to teach her about lighting. There's light behind her. You can't even see her. It just almost looks like it's the shadow dancing on the screen.
And the whole 360 by 240 blown up, pixelated look doesn't really help.
Yeah. Also, she probably needs to look into inventing a newer phone if this is what her phone is pulling in.
Yeah, the chocolate's been gone for a while.
Yeah. She's going to be senator of New York soon, and at some point she's going to make a presidential run, which she'll never be successful at, but she'll try. She'll get to the level of running for president. That's going to be the highest level she's going to reach in government. And luckily, I don't think she'll ever make it anywhere higher than that. But she'll be senator. And there's some pretty dumb senators, so it's not like, you know.
It's not like she's out of place. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Okay, got it.
You have no idea how stupid these people really are. They are so dumb. And it's on both sides. They're so dumb. They don't know about electronics. They don't know about the world. All they know is I've been at this job for 30 years and it's always been like this for me.
It's like, did you delete the emails? I don't know. I don't know how they did. Did you hit the delete key while you're on the emails? What's a keyboard?
Okay, so like my neighbor and I were friends on Facebook at one point. Like, this is when I had my original Facebook account, and I was in Korea and I was blogging on Facebook about my trip. He thought that these were all individual messages I was sending exclusively to him.
Yeah.
Because at one point he commented, Something about like appreciating the fact that he's sharing all this with him. Like if I was just like, it's just between me and him. And I'm like, do you even know how Facebook works?
Mm,
These are the people who are in Congress.
yeah.
They're the same type of people. She kind of gets it, but only because she's younger, not because she's smarter. She kind of gets it because she's younger. The people who get it because they're smarter, they're very few. Like, I don't think Donald Trump fully gets it, but he has people who work for him who do fully get it, and he
Yeah.
trusts them.
Yeah.
So that's why he ends up looking like he gets it. He doesn't. His people get it, and he trusts his people. JD Vance, he gets it.
Mhm.
He gets, he's, and you can spot him. There are people in Congress who are smart.
So I just want to make it clear, Ben. What you're saying here is when you play Super Democratic Brothers, then you're gonna choose there too.
Super Democratic brothers. Super Democratic People's Brothers.
So this is your fighter right here.
I would pick her just because it's AOC. It's the only one, like, I recognize a few of the names, but she's the most recognizable name, and I would think that she would be, like, the breakout character that people would play as.
So I'm gonna go on because we're gonna get to the one I choose. I'll tell why I choose them. I do want to give out, it's got to be Jasmine Crockett, but I will say that Jasmine Crockett probably does the best to actually imitate like a fighting game, but that's not my choice. So we're gonna move on. No. Keep it going. And there's my fighter. You want to know why? I swear she is dropping some nougats right there with Katstiets. And I am all about that.
She has 2 sprained fingers.
Dude, that's because those are how hard she drops them nougats, man.
Some nougats.
She breaks the fingers when she's on the pot. So
I will
that's
say
my choice. Everyone comment on this video and tell me who you would use in Super Democratic Brothers.
Don't talk about the politics that we discuss at all.
Yeah.
AOC is a lesson that no matter how hot your bartender is, don't tell her that you think she should run for Congress.
Mhm.
You're so smart, you probably should run. That's a great idea.
And then they're like, see, I was able to control her.
Mhm.
And that's what all the government's about. How are the special interest groups going to control the people in government?
Yep.
With money.
But it's always money.
It's always about the money.
It's always about money. It's either about God or money.
Mm-hmm. Which just to let you guys know, we will be getting to a way that you can save money later. But right now it's all about money. Sorry.
What do you want to? Do you want to talk about that? Don't we usually open the program up with that?
No, we actually gotta do something really quick.
Okay.
So I wasn't planning this week, but today something happened. So I'm just gonna get this out of the way really quick because I know that there's probably a following that is latched on to us because of this group, and that's going to be for the Bloomin' News. Let's talk about the Bloomin' News really quick because something did come out today. And I want to point out, I pulled this picture, which I'm kind of glad I pulled this picture because this is for some, I guess, radio website that is actually doing and I think I need to go to the next one to show you, is a block party that's going on tomorrow, March 24th or maybe today, depending on your work, or maybe if you're watching this late, maybe it already happened, and you might want to get your flex capacitor all powered up because it's happening on March 24th at 8 p.m. Central Time. This site, I've never heard of this site before, so they're getting free advertisement on our show right now. So congratulations to them.
For the dozens in attendance.
So they're doing a 2-hour block party, which is funny because I think there's about 2 hours. If you pull everything that BINI's done, including songs that are advertisements, you'll get to about 2 hours of music. So I'm sure there's going to probably be a lot of talking because I don't think they're going to do like the fudgy song or the song about Vicodin hair on their show. So there'll probably be a lot of things said, but they're going to be playing their song. So I just wanted to throw that out. The important thing I want to show you is right now they are starting their world tour. one of the places they're going is Dubai, which is going to be, I believe, on the 25th. They'll be in Dubai.
Are you going to buy some tickets for Dubai?
Yes, exactly. Now, I thought Dubai was an interesting choice until I realized there's a huge population of people from the Philippines that go to places like Dubai to actually work. And I actually know somebody who's kind of in the area of Dubai that works as like a housemaid and is working like nonstop. So I understand now why they're going to Dubai, because they're probably going to pull a lot of their people for the show. But the thing that I wanted to point out here is that because it got so popular in Dubai, they're now going to sell a new batch of VIP2 entries with the sound check included, which means that with this happening, it's possible that anywhere else, they could open this up anywhere else. So if you are going on the world tour, keep an eye out for this to see if there's going to be a last minute VIP2 opening up for you to purchase for the show in your area, because I've got my tickets and I'm going to go see them, but I wasn't able to buy any sort of VIPs. So maybe that'll happen. So just wanted to let you guys know, if you're going to their concerts out in, Europe or in the US or anywhere, just, keep your eyes and ears peeled for a possibility to get into the sound checks and early access. So that's everything I had for the Bloomin' News today. So we got that taken care of. Shall we go to what would save you money, or do you want to go to what you did, Ben?
Let's do the money thing.
All right. So as you all know the song, come sing along with me. What genre do you like? What do you want to play? Let me help you save on what you've got to pay. And I should probably be sharing my screen right now, because as we're going to start with each song, epic games. Yeah, epic games. Here we go. But actually, can we get that a little more Adam Sandler, Ben?
Epic game.
There we go. Thank you very much. So let's talk about Epic Games. So as we mentioned last week, it is finally now free. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is free until Thursday. So if you wanted to, I guess, watch T-Rexes toss their babies off as she die.
Oh, I want to make it a death camp for people. It'd be great.
There you go. You can do that, Ben. You can slaughter the population of wherever you want to.
I'm opening with Epic Games Launcher right now to download this.
Go for it. Let us know how big it is. Evidently, it just said San Diego, so I think the first city you're going to get to destroy is in California.
California.
What is that move? Oh, that's the Wizard, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. So yes.
It's a great soundbite. I wonder if anybody uses it for any podcast or something. California.
I guess you just found a place where you can plug it in now. So, okay, so that's for Epic Games' Jurassic World. Now, Epic Games does something interesting. So we're going to go back to their site, because we evidently, that C&D order that we got from them a while back is now in effect, because they happen to do this to us. Free games, mystery game. They do not want you to know what's coming up. They are so anti the BM show that they don't even want us to know what's coming out.
But look, from the looks of it, though, it's two different games.
Yes, the blue, it's Pokemon. Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Yellow. Or PokeCat.
PokeCat.
So
maybe the games don't have anything to do with each other, though. Maybe these are two completely different games. Maybe they're very big AAA titles, and they don't want you to. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't want to advertise it, but
I don't know. Now, last time they did things like this was they started releasing games, I think, daily. So this looks like this is hitting, if my math is correct, around Wednesday. I don't know. My math, maybe it's Thursday. I can't tell, but just keep your eyes peeled, because it may be a free game a day. It might still be a free game a week. If it's free game a week, we'll still cover Epic Games. If it's a free game a day, we're not going to be able to keep up. So Sorry, but just keep checking their site.
Yep.
So that's it for Epic Games. Next up, we get to Prime Games, where it happened again. If you didn't notice yet, Ben, we have Wolfenstein: The Old Blood that you can pick up for a PC through, I don't know who it is. I think this is just directly through Windows, so I think you have to go to like the Microsoft store probably. But so if you're into shooters, you might want to pick this up. If you're an Xbox user, you might as well, because there it is. The Xbox version is also free on Prime Gaming. They're doing it again with a Wolfenstein title. So maybe they're going to keep doing this with Wolfenstein titles. On the last one I scrolled down, the pictures aren't changing, people. So it's the same game, but this way you can get it on both systems if you need to. Now, Ben, do you remember what our Epic Games game was last week?
Epic Game. Repeat the question?
Do you remember where Epic Games free game was last week?
I don't.
Remember, I made the Mortal Shell, and you did Mortal Shell? Well, unfortunately, you cannot get that on Epic Games anymore because Jurassic World Evolution 2 has taken over. What would you look at that? Free on Prime Gaming is Mortal Shell. So if you missed it the first time, it's free through, I believe, Epic Games through Prime. So I guess maybe it didn't do too good, or maybe it just did so well that they wanted to do it some more. I don't know. We talked about this game being like a Dark Souls fighter thing. If you missed it that time, check it out now. You may want to pick it up if you have Prime Gaming, if you missed the Epic version. Which is kind of weird to actually see that go from Epic and then all of a sudden be on Prime Gaming at the same time. But whatever. So next also, was that?
I haven't said anything.
Oh, I think you're saying something, Ben. Okay, so next up we have Mutazioni. Mutazoni.
And here, you do that stuff outside.
Exactly. So this is some sort of, looks like point and click game. So if you want to point the goat at the goat, you could, if the game says point at the goat, you know what to do. I'm sure there's somebody who's probably trying to point at the goat's unmentionable parts. That's on you. So, but if you're into point and click games, you want to pick up Mutazione or whatever it's called. Next up on Prime Gaming, we have Legacy of Kain Defiance, which kind of upsets me because I paid a whole 97 cents on Steam to get this. I want my 97 cents back. So if you haven't played the Legacy of Kain series, this is actually the last game in the series, so you might want to get this for free but not start on it. But you can get it for free. Or you could go and buy it for 97 cents, whatever you prefer doing. And finally on Prime Gaming, I should probably show pictures of that if you haven't seen it. And then finally on Prime Gaming is Figment 2, Creed Valley, which is, this is like, I guess, a music game. It's a music puzzle adventure game. So I guess it's like maybe a rhythm type game. So if you have any rhythm, which some people don't, which I'm going to name Matt, who actually does play guitar. If you don't have rhythm, this might not be a thing for you, but if you do, give it a try and see if the game has rhythm and if the two of you can jam together. So that covers everything that's free. Now let's go. The ants in your pants, what?
As a rhythm as a dancer.
I think the ants in my pants. No. Okay, so that's all the free stuff. Now let's go to the stuff that's going to cost you a little bit of money. First, let's talk about Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle is doing a HeroCraft PC Complete. Now, I don't know what this is, but it looks like it's games. Organs Please kind of scares me, but I guess this is a bundle for some sort of games that I've never heard of any of these games. But let's see here. So 11 titles, you can pay $20 for 11, but then if you go down to 15, you get 10. So what gets eliminated? Is that Revival? Okay, so Revival Recolonization gets eliminated. So that must be a really expensive game, I guess. And then you go down 10, you get 7 down to 2. So $20 is going to be your good spots if you know what any of these games are. And people like, dude, I've been craving I've been craving Footlol with where you can be a cow playing soccer.
$5 footload.
So if that's what you want, go for it. It's out there, Humble Bundle. Also on Humble Bundle right now is a Humble Heroines bundle thing, which is pay you get to pay just $12 for 7 of them. $12, dude. Okay, so first off, this has Control the Ultimate Edition too. Control, I will say, is an exceptional game. That alone makes this $12 worth it.
And then games that are recognizable: Darksiders 3, Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls used to be a PlayStation exclusive, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I also know Pseudo Regalia, which is kind of this really Nintendo 64 style. It's like Castlevania 64 in a way. That actually got, look at 97% pause on Steam. It's really well liked. So that's not a very bad deal on there. I've heard of Kill the Crows also too. So there's some pretty big.
Kill the Crows sounds like a band name.
I think you're thinking of Counting Crows, which you didn't like.
Oh, that's why I want to Kill the Crows. Got it. Okay.
There you go. So that's up there if you want to pick that up. Also, this is interesting because I actually picked this up about a year ago. Humble Bundle is also doing the Earth Defense Force collection, which is going to give you oh wow, this one is new, World Brothers 2. I didn't even know that was out. Okay, so this is going to give you for $25 all of these. I wonder if that's going to eliminate it. Yep. You get 5, you get World Brothers 2, Iron Rain, and you get everything for like 4.1. It's nuts. So if you haven't played EDF, you may want to pick this up for $25. And if you go a little bit lower to 15, you're eliminating a couple titles. I think you eliminate 5 and World Brothers 2 at that point, and then down to 10, you're just getting like Iron Rain and 4. And my buddies and I, we played the heck out of 4. So this is a pretty good deal. So check it out if you haven't done EDF. That's it for Humble Bundle. We'll move on to Fanatical. Fanatical's first one is the Build Your Own Adventure Bundle. So 3 games for $5. And I think actually this game, Beyond Steel Sky, is free on GOG, so keep a lookout for that. But I mean, this one here, this triple pack, $60. Another triple pack here. So just these two together, you already have 6 games, and you can still get 1 game. So if you see anything, and then here's another triple pack, so you get 9 games. That's together. That's what 60, 120, and 40. So $160 in games you can get for $5 if you wanted to. So, and then there's a double pack for
right now. Do it right now. Stop everything you're doing.
There you go. So you can also add this double pack in. That's another $35, and then just throw in probably the most expensive game on here. I'm trying to figure out what that is. That's not a pack, and that's probably like one of these. This one, Hazel Sky, for 25. No, Beyond Steel Sky. So maybe I'm wrong there. For $35, you'll have, and that gives you 5 games for $1.60 a pop, and you're definitely doing well over $200 at that point, and that's not bad. So then next up on Fanatical is we have the Build Your Own Spring Bundle, which is a game for $1. So that's not a very bad deal either. And I think oh dude, I was gonna say Metal Unit and Always are definitely worth it. As you can see, that's why they're worth it, because they're gone. But there's still some games left here that you can pick up.
You can get Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai, if you want to get Cobra Kai.
What's the price? 1 for $1?
1 for $1.
That's for Cobra Kai. I would say I'm tempted to do that, actually, because I was thinking about getting Cobra Kai, and I think I get it because I thought it cost too much.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So now you can pick it up for $1 and let us know what you think. That might become a Ben does it so you don't have to. So that's it for the Build Your Own Spring bundle. They also have the Play on the Go bundle, which is 2 games for $15. So there's gonna be a little bit more, but I can tell it's gonna be bigger names. Like I know Ultra Kill, Star Wars game. That's gonna be a big name. So if you see anything here, you may want to use this to save some money. So finally, we got one of these again from Fanatical, the I Don't Know bundles, more mystery keys. And I guess it's 3 mystery keys for $3.69. So basically, if you this means that you don't have to go onto Steam, blindfold yourself and randomly click things to throw your money away. You can just throw your money away by just adding this to cart. But who knows, you may get something good. Chances are not, but you may. So if you do this and get anything good, put it in the comments. Let us know what you got. I'm kind of curious what's in there, but I'm not going to do it. So that's it for the game stuff today. That's hopefully going to save you some money.
All right.
So that puts us at Ben. Did you do something?
I did I did a few things actually. One of them is ridiculous, and we'll do the ridiculous one first. So there's this new
with the jingle.
Yeah, do the jingle me up.
Thank you. So it sucks or something that you don't want to do. Well, guess what? Boom, boom. Ben does it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Take it away, Ben.
All right. So there's the new Snow White movie has been released. And so I went and I did something so you don't have to. I went and I watched a couple of reviews of it because I'm not gonna go watch this stupid movie. And they all said it sucked. So that was the thing I did that you don't have to. All right, we're done. Okay.
Perfect. So you
Yeah.
actually saw scenes of the movie while you watched the reviews, right?
You know, one guy, like, he spoiled the whole movie. He literally told, like, the whole story.
I think the movie has been spoiled for a long time.
Oh, no, because this movie's done differently. She apparently, all she does is she saves all the people from the Wicked Witch because she marches into town and is just appointed a new queen or some bullshit. I don't know.
Does she march into town with nunchucks?
No, she just walks into town and it's just,
Well, that sucks. I mean, if you're going to change it, let's change it for like the more awesome stuff. Like have her march into town with like dual wielding.
I'm like watching every single one of these reviews. They all said the same thing. Like it's uninspired, and it's like one guy was like, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but he's like, they're not saying that it's the worst movie ever, but like apparently it's like bombing in the box office. Like the CIA is in talks with AMC to have their secret documents placed in Snow White showings because nobody's there.
That's wicked.
And the other thing I did was during the Maltese Falcon thing, I made a reference to an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I assumed I had it, and I didn't. So I went and I bought the whole Blu-ray box set for the whole damn series.
So yes, so Ben bought the Blu-ray series so you don't have to, or is it more like Ben bought the Blu-ray series so you're unable to?
Well, it's still they still make them. It's not out of print.
Okay, so no one else has to buy them. Got it, Ben.
Well, I mean, I'm going to share it with everybody. So if you want it, you gotta go get your own copies. It's expensive. Next Generation is expensive, and the freaking box set's huge. I got it on Friday. I have been ripping these discs like not nonstop because I have other shit I gotta do, but for a good amount of time since Friday, I've been ripping these discs, and I'm like up to like season 5.
So how many discs is it?
There's 6 discs per season, and there's 7 seasons.
Does it do each season come in their own box, or is it just like the CDs are kind of like loose?
They come in a box, but like there's one box for seasons 1 through 4, and then another box for 5 through 7. And then if you ever bought a DVD or Blu-ray box set from any CBS series or Paramount series, it's these gigantic Amory cases that are ridiculously huge. Like we have a few here because like we have the Twilight Zone that came in one of those. Ghost Whisperer came in one of those. Yeah, it's like every single one of these series that's like a Paramount / CBS show comes in with these gigantic Amory cases. I think they're called. That might be the company. I think I might be the style. I don't know. But that's basically they just look like gigantic DVD cases where there's like only like 40 something disc in there.
Well, does each disc have its own holder, or do I like stacking discs up on top?
Oh, they got a holder. Each one of them, and okay. Like it's they're dual sided, 2 on each side, like pages.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, which I don't really care for. But then again, there are some box sets where they come in sleeves and they're all stacked on top of each other. Like if I don't have it, but if you ever get like the Baywatch complete series, that's how it's packed.
Yeah.
Because they gave 2 shits about it.
Yeah, that irks me when they don't like make a case that is good for actually holding the DVDs, or they just stack them up like on one holder. Like there's 5 discs that are stacked up on one of them. That just irks me.
Yeah, that stuff like that is like it bothers me too. Like it depends on the company. Some companies are better than others. Some companies take better care of their stuff. If you're getting it from one of like those boutique companies, you're going to get a good case because you're overpaying for the movie. But sometimes it's the only way to get certain films.
Yeah. Or if you're getting it from a bootleg, that you're getting a good case because they just took a 16 gigabyte file and compressed it down to 2 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So they just threw it on one disc.
Like when I ordered The Room on Blu-ray. And when you order it directly, The Room on Blu-ray, he's the one who sends it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tommy Wiseau is the one who sends it to you. Dude, he doesn't have anybody working for him. People don't order enough for him to qualify having to hire people. So I'm assuming if my order was packed by him.
But you should order it from him and then put a link to when we talk about it.
No, because he's known to do takedown notices.
That would be praised. Like, why would you say that about me? Why'd you do that? Hey, Ben.
Somebody got a takedown notice. They talked good about the movie. I don't think he cares. He just doesn't want you to like using his material. And it's like, dude, how are people going to learn about your film? It's like Nintendo. It's like, don't you dare advertise our game for free.
Exactly. That's a no.
It's like you're gonna give away the story, the story ending. Like what? Mario rescues the princess. Nobody saw that coming.
Exactly. Well, I mean, some people might not see it coming if they really suck at the game. That's the thing.
They never heard of it before. This is their first time hearing a Super Mario Brothers.
Sorry, everybody out there. If you didn't know, Mario and Peach have a thing going.
Yeah, she pretends to get kidnapped, and she actually has like this loving relationship with Bowser. And so he pretends to kidnap her, and then they're sadistic, and they make this poor plumber guy who's like from a foreign land go through all this hell, and they do it to him like every couple of years.
They're just like messing with him.
All they do is mess with the guy. Like,
yeah. She's
like, "Oh, Mario, I'm in prison, and it's horrible." And then she puts the pen down, and then her and Bowser start making out because they're really like into each other and stuff. It's just horrible. They're a horrible couple.
So what you're saying is Peach is playing mind games on Mario.
Yeah. Like he thinks it's just them, and he's completely in the friend zone, but he doesn't know it. And every time he's like, "Oh, Well, do you think next time that maybe you could give me a kiss? And it's like, maybe, if you're good enough.
And then Bowser pulling up.
Good enough.
Dude, and then Bowser pulls up in his convertible.
He's like all abusive to her, but she's still into him. He's like, get in the car, bitch. Oh, okay, Bowsy. Don't call me that, you dumb whore. He's like smoking a cigarette.
So the Mario and Luigi is a Mario and Luigi brothership game. And what I've learned by looking at that game is that Mario is an idiot because Luigi is the one that has all the good ideas. And they're not even like fantastic ideas. It's like, there's a switch on the wall and there's a bridge over there that's up. What should we do? Oh, maybe I'll hammer the switch and the bridge will come down. Mario couldn't think of that.
Well,
It's
also
just
think about what they do with relationships too, because like so Mario's with Toadstool, Princess Peach, right?
Yeah.
And the other princess, I forget her name now. She's the one from Mario Land. What's that? Daisy. Yeah. Luigi goes after Daisy, and then there like a lot of stuff. If you ever watch Game Theory, there's a lot of stuff I'm pulling in from that. There is a story from Game Theory, a theory that Rosalina is actually the offspring of Daisy and Luigi. So tell me which one ends up in the better relationship where they actually have an offspring, a child.
That's funny because I was going to ask you who goes after her, and now after saying that, I really hope it's not Luigi.
Rosalina?
Yeah.
Well, if the theory's correct, she's a time traveling child of Luigi and Daisy.
Wouldn't this be weird? Wouldn't that just be totally awkward? Like Luigi's like, I've been with Daisy, but Rosalina is really buttering my buns right now. And then that's the whole. At that point, it's the whole Back to the Future thing with Calvin Klein.
I've never seen someone with their name on their underwear before. Yeah, it's written all over your underwear. I'm like, what did they wear in the 50s? They must have all wore boxer shorts or some shit.
Yeah, I think they went without at that point. I don't think they had invented underwear at that point.
Well, why was she looking at his underwear?
Because he was hit, so she had put him in the bed, which I guess not allowed in the bed.
But like, dude, come on. If me and you were in the same situation and somebody brought us into their home because we were knocked out, you're going to wake up exactly dressed the same way you were dressed when you got hit by the car, unless they did something perverted to you.
All I got to say for you, Ben, is when you come visit me, don't get hit by a car first.
Oh, so we have movies to talk about.
We do. We actually do have movies to talk about.
We've been promoting this. There's a movie that you talked about, but we're not gonna talk about that one first. We're gonna make you wait for that one. Sorry, guys. But
so what two movies did we say we were going to talk about?
Well, the original lineup for tonight was going to be there wasn't a movie already called My Girl, so we can call it the My Girl night, but we're not doing My Girl. We're doing My Sassy.
How about we call it the Not So My Girl night?
Not so My Girl. Okay.
Because that kind of fits the movies in a sort of way, but sort of not.
We're doing My Sassy Girl, which is based actually on a true story, and we are doing My Fair Lady, which is probably not based on a true story.
I don't know. You never know nowadays. I mean, maybe that event has happened one time in history after the movie, so now it is based on a true story, not knowing it was based on a true story. That's pretty deep.
That is true.
I got y'all thinking, didn't I?
My brain hurts.
All right, so let's start with the first one. I know you got the Wikipedias up for them, ready to read.
Yeah. While I was talking, I actually drew it up earlier on ChatGPT. This is a tangent. I do all this stuff to, like, when I'm right now on my Windows machine. My Windows machine sucks with ChatGPT, so I have to have my phone do whatever I want ChatGPT to do, and then I will pull it up on my computer. Apple products, all my Apple products just do really well with ChatGPT. I don't know what. All right, let's do this. My Sassy Girl is a 2001 South Korean romantic comedy that became a cultural phenomenon across Asia and later gained international acclaim. The film tells the story of a wild-mannered college student, Gwan Woo, who finds himself entangled in a bizarre and often chaotic relationship with unpredictable and eccentric young woman known only as the girl. Their relationship evolves through a series of humorous, touching, and surreal encounters, revealing deeper emotional layers and past traumas. This film is based on a series of real-life blog posts written by Kim Woo-sik, later published as a best-selling novel. The narrative blends slapstick comedy, romantic drama, and moments of potency, contributing to its wide appeal. Apparently, this movie has been remade many times.
Mm-hmm.
Including a U.S. remake, which I had no idea about, which stars Elisha Cuthbert.
And we should probably keep it that way, that we don't know about it.
Yeah. So this movie was actually kind of fun. Again, all the ones you sent me, they're fun in different ways. This one here, this girl is like almost a nightmare girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the way they get together where like she throws up on some guy on the subway train, and then because she goes and calls the guy baby, the main character, Guan Wu, calls him baby, all of a sudden he's tied in with her because now like the guy's like, she's your girlfriend, you take care of her, and then now he's stuck taking her, and he's like brings her to a hotel.
I love where like he tries to leave her there first, and then the guilt sits in. And he comes running back to the train station.
Yeah, it's a whole thing where like he's just a really good guy, and he gets tied in with her and her whole situation. And it's a love story in a lot of respects. Actually, it is a love story where like also like the whole thing where her parents don't like him.
Yeah,
But
can we point out that her dad reminds me of Elvis?
other than the fact he kept drinking and like just passing out like every single time. Yeah, there's a lot of drinking in this, which is part of the Korean culture. Like
Absolutely.
but that's like something you would do like to the new guy at the office is that everybody would go out drinking and you would get the new guy completely smashed.
Mm-hmm.
And the manager would be not only would the manager approve of this, they're part of the people getting the guy smashed.
Exactly.
It's like
While they're getting smashed too.
yeah, it's a lot of drinking in Korea. I remember seeing like you go and you walk around like on the weekend nights, you'll see drunk people everywhere.
Yes.
It's sad in a lot of ways. Yeah, so like this girl's drunk and he's just being a good Samaritan and taking care of her, and they end up like a couple, and slowly throughout the movie they kind of fall for each other. Like it's one of the things like what's annoying at first becomes endearing after a while. So what are your thoughts?
Okay. So I think last time we mentioned we called this a dramedy, which I can't think of a better word to describe My Sassy Girl. Now I saw it a long time ago, so seeing it again was interesting because I realized how much that nails what it is. And I think that is one of the problems with My Sassy Girl, because there's a definite switch from where it goes to this comedy fun movie to full-blown Korean drama. And you see it coming because it's the defining moment in the whole movie where he meets the guy who she was going out on a date with and starts listing all the things to do. And that kind of wakes her up and she's like, oh, he's the man for me kind of thing. But then you go into the whole drama aspect where she doesn't want to meet him and blah, blah, blah. And somehow magically they meet again. I'm sorry, I just spoiled it for you guys, but that's what happened. So if you are not into Korean dramas, I do not advise watching this movie. Or at least watching the first half of it, because I think it's so Korean drama at the end, which I've kind of gotten out of. So I do really like the first part of it. I'm just not very fond of the last part. I think it should have kind of ended with her going, oh, okay, he's a good guy, I'll stick with him, after he was listening to a lot of stuff with that other guy and not gone on to the we'll meet again someday, but it's just going to be some random meeting that makes no sense at the end of the movie. So I think that's the major weakness with it. Now, I do want to.
I did try thinking back through the movie, and I think at one point he does mention, before she mentions that her ex-boyfriend passed, or her boyfriend passed away, he mentions that he just lost his friend. So they do. There are hints that it ends up being the same person they're talking about.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so he lost his friend, and she lost her boyfriend. They're the same person, and then the mother decides to set them up together at the end of the movie, which was like, sorry, I ruined the movie for you. The 24-year-old Civic in Korea.
I didn't make that connection, so that's why I was wondering, like, what's the chances of this ending? But thank you. You just explained a big part of it to me that I missed.
And that like also shows like how you and somebody else can know the same person and have no idea that you're both talking about the same. But it just happened to me before, where we're like, I'm talking to somebody and we're literally talking about the same person.
Yeah.
And you don't put it together until like 5 minutes into the conversation. Like, wait a minute, is their name blah blah blah? It's like, yeah. Oh no way.
So I do want to talk about the main star of this movie, because it's not the girl, it's the guy. Because the character, the female character, put him through so much.
Oh God.
But this guy is such a good actor. His facial expressions are just like perfect. Like whenever something happened, this guy was so good at being in that moment and capturing it with how his look was, that you could just feel that same, whatever it was he was going through, you could totally feel it. Like where she's barfing and he's just got the ew look to him. You can just totally be there and feel what he felt. I didn't think that the lady was all that great of an actress, but I guess she was well known for doing this. But I just don't think she's the star of the movie.
I'm looking right here for reception of the movie. It says My Sassy Girl was a massive box office hit in South Korea and became one of the highest grossing Korean comedies of all time. Its unique style and strong performances, especially by Jun Hin Yoon, helped define a new wave of Korean cinema in the early 2000s. And if I look up here, that would so they're giving it out to the girl.
Yeah, exactly.
But but you're saying that Chae Tae-hyun, who played Gwon Woo, the male lead, is the one who actually steals the show for you.
So much better the way that his facial expressions work. He becomes so much more believable.
Yeah, no, he did a really good job, I think. Like I said, the movie was fun. Once I figured out what the movie was about, like, I'm like, oh, okay, so she's just like a nightmare girlfriend. But it's like when somebody, like a girl, is so there's something about her, like you still want her around even though she's kind of annoying.
Yeah. One of the best scenes from the movie is where she's walking on the street, like dressed up like she's going to work, and he is with his friends, and he sees her walk by but doesn't know it's her, and he's like, oh, that's my type, and goes out there to pick up on her. And when he finds out it's her, she gets, she does the whole whatever, do you want to die thing, and starts chasing him down, and he goes back into hiding with his friends. And that's another part where you see that look on his face, like, dude, I'm in so much trouble. And that's like one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, she was like a crazy chick, and then they did the time capsule, and then they wait 2 years, and then he's the only one who shows up, and then she shows up later and finds out about the tree, and it's a weird love story. Like it kind of like it's not the same as, but it kind of reminds me of wasn't it the one with like the letters in the mailbox?
Letters in the mailbox.
Maybe not. No, never mind. I'm thinking about something else. Oh, the Notebook. It kind of reminded me of the Notebook in a way. How like or there's a few people. There's people I know in my life where their whole relationship was we were together and then we broke up and then we got together again and then we broke up and then we got together again and now we're married and have children.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
There's one scene that
went together like a bunch of times over multiple years.
now there's one scene we do have to discuss, which has become such an iconic scene that if you've never seen My Sassy Girl, chances are if you've watched anything Korean, you've seen this scene, and the moment you see it in the movie, you totally recognize it. And that's the part where she's on the subway, and he sees her, and he's running towards the subway, and the doors close on him, and he's looking in at her. And she doesn't see him because she's facing the opposite way, and he's looking at her. And this is all after the whole time capsule thing. So, and that scene itself, I think, is like super huge.
Well, that's like right after the scene where he's sitting on the escalator going down the escalator, and she's running up the escalator, and they keep missing each other, and they're in the same place at the same time, but they don't see each other. And
Yeah, that's another big scene as well too.
because it's a love story.
Exactly, it's a drama. It's Korean drama.
And at the end of it, you get to decide whether or not you would have put up with her.
I wouldn't have.
Oh, yeah. Would you have put up with this chick? I mean, for Korean, she's pretty. When I say Korean, I don't mean like, oh, she's pretty for Korean. I mean, like, people who have yellow fever, they go to Asia and they think every girl is a knockout. And says, no, you need to learn how to redefine what beauty is see what Koreans consider to be pretty.
Yeah.
And for the Korean standard of pretty, she's pretty.
See, and that's the thing is, I look at her, and she, in a way, reminds me of a friend that I had that said, "Oh yeah, I got angry with my boyfriend, so I slashed his tires." And then later that night, asked me, "Why do you never ask me out on a date?" And I'm like thinking, because I care about my tires. I mean, this is the exact same type of woman. So
yeah, she's the crazy, whereas borderline fun crazy to, oh fuck, who am I dating?
Exactly. Yeah. So will I survive the morning, or will there be a knife through my throat?
And you know what?
Is this Lorena Bobbitt?
Yeah, I mean, do you want some girl who is just some Cockney street trash girl, or do you want somebody who is sophisticated and talks with a French accent?
And no, sophisticated and knows how to go dee 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 dee. See, My Sassy Girl is just one step below dee 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 dee. She's just more blunt with it.
Yeah, I was trying to transition to the next movie, but
oh, okay, sorry, I messed it up. I transitioned this to another movie. So on that note, Audition is a 2000. No, I'm kidding.
Audition is good. I mean, it's, I don't know if you're at the faint of heart, you don't want to see it, but
so let's do this. Let's just say this. Ben, for My Sassy Girl, would you say, should I bother? Would you say yes or no?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a movie you do want to check out.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go with a maybe, actually. I highly recommend it, but I only recommend it if you can stomach Korean drama, because it gets so heavy at the end in Korean drama. So just keep that in mind. But if you can handle Korean drama, I would say check it out.
Very good. Very good. You ready for what's next?
I am ready for what's next.
All right. Have a little sip of water here. I should be drinking like honey tea or something like that. Ooh. Where's my honey tea? Come on. All right. My Fair Lady is a 1964 American musical film based on the Broadway stage musical of the same name. The story follows Eliza Doolittle, played by Audrey Hepburn, a poor Cockney flower girl who undergoes a transformation in manners and speech after she is taken in by Professor Henry Higgins, played by Rex Harrison, a snobbish phonics. Wow, I can't even. There's always a word here I can't say. A snobbish phonetics expert. Higgins makes a bet that he can pass Eliza off as a refined lady in high society simply by teaching her how to speak proper English. As the story progresses, Eliza's transformation leads to questions about her identity, independence, and self-worth, challenging the assumptions of both teacher and student. Here's some casting and controversy about this movie. Rex Harrison reprised his Tony-winning stage role, but the casting of Audrey Hepburn over original Broadway star Julie Andrews was controversial. Hepburn's singing voice was mostly dubbed by Marnie Nixon, though she did perform some of her own vocals. The film was shot in lavish sets and costumes designed by Cecile Beaton, contributing to its visual splendor. And then they go over all the awards to win.
So I want to make it clear. So what you're saying is if they did a remake of this movie, if they would have done a remake of this movie in the late 80s, playing the role that Audrey Hepburn was playing would have been Milli Vanilli.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. It's she, and you could tell as soon as the singing starts that it's not her.
Yeah.
And they tried to cover it up. This was a controversy. This was a real controversy back in the day, to the point where it actually cost her a nomination for an award, I think, or at least winning an award. Like everybody else won an award other than her for this movie. And they wanted her because at the time she was a hot commodity on the box at the box office. And she did a bunch of musicals, and I'm like, she never struck me as somebody who, I mean, her best singing was probably when she was on Breakfast at Tiffany's with the guitar in her hand, because that actually was her singing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, girl, you know, it's true. They should have just blamed it on the rain.
If they did do it in the 80s, they probably would have had like some, who was like an actress who was really hot at the time who probably couldn't sing a lick.
I don't know, Sharon Stone?
Yeah.
Was she too 80s?
Yeah, maybe, okay, for the heck of it, Sharon Stone, and they would have like some, have somebody dubbing her voice over it.
Gibson.
Effie Gibson. Tiffany.
Electric Cooch.
Go
there, just so you know.
This movie, okay, I'm not a fan of musicals.
Wait, am I supposed to go first? Because
go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad that you were letting me go first on this one, because I don't think you're gonna like me much. Okay, so to sum up My Fair Lady, I'm gonna say that the movie is somewhat interesting. It's somewhat cute, somewhat fun, but also somewhat a cure for insomnia. And it's not the musical part, because it is a musical. I don't know what it is, but it had me check. There's times that I was very engaged with it. Then there was times where I just felt like I was checking the clock, going like, okay, is this going to progress any faster than it is right now? Because it's not going fast enough. Maybe it's the fact that it felt like there are a lot of points in the movie that were disjointed. Now, I know it kind of worked itself out together, but like when she goes back, her father's there, you cut to father, the whole thing with I know him getting married was important, but the whole thing with the musical part about him getting married, about the, take me there tomorrow, I forget what the song does. It didn't feel like it was solid in the movie as it should be, because probably I wasn't looking at it as such a musical because I'm watching it as a movie. And that might have been a strike to it. Now, I will say this, though. I've watched a lot of scary movies. I've sat there and I can sit through movies like Hostel and Saw where arms are getting ripped off, or they're like pulling their intestines out and they have to eat them to find a key or something like that. And I'll sit there and it won't bother me. I will say this, though. That horse racing song is pure nightmare fuel. I am going to have nightmares about that horse racing song scene for decades, because it was so disturbing. I don't know if you felt that way about it, but I
don't even remember it. So it obviously didn't have much of an impression on me. What about the song? Try to remind me of what your issue is.
I don't know if it's a melody or just the way that the choreography went with it, or maybe it's the colors used, or maybe it's just everything together. But I just felt uncomfortable watching that. I didn't want to see it. Now, I'm not a big musical fan. But if your movie is a musical, I'll you know, I'll let you go with that. I might it does become strikes against it to me, but man, that scene I couldn't handle. The other scene that really kind of irked me, but I understand why, is I am sorry if the hot water in the bath was that hot that the whole room was fogging up, she would have melted the moment she got into it. So, but I get why they had to do it because they can't show nudity, which fine. But it just there she that would have been straight 3rd-degree burns on spot.
Mm.
So, but and understanding her as a peasant, I guess, or poor woman was a little difficult. And I don't know if that's because of an accent she has or the way that she's talking, or maybe it's both of them together. But that was kind of, I guess, bothersome to me because it is just weird English that didn't like click with me all that well.
Mm.
So, but there's other things like the guy that comes into it that falls in love with him falls in love with her all of a sudden. I'm talking about, I guess, the new version of My Fair Lady when I say falls in love with him, but falls in love with her at the horse races and then's like pretty much, I guess, stalking her. That felt like it was underused. Like it was just kind of thrown in there and then just discarded at a point. I did like the scene with the guy who was trying to decipher who she was at the party, who was well known for doing things like that. I did like that scene. I did like that guy. That kind of added a fun layer to the movie. But I don't think this is one that I'm ever going to see again.
Okay. Are you done?
I am done.
This is my first time seeing this movie. I too am not a huge fan of musicals.
Huh.
This movie did not change my mind on that.
Okay.
This movie was a little on the long side, especially with anytime there's an intermission.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you it's a long movie.
Yeah.
Is at an intermission. I plan to never really see it again.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting more songs that I would remember.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to sing My Fair Lady, which I don't think they sing at all. Yeah. I find Audrey Hepburn to be an attractive woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the reason for me to sit through this movie. And that was the reason I sat through the movie. And when I sit through the movie again, no.
Wow.
Do I think the movie would have been better with Julie Andrews? Probably. But then we wouldn't be watching it because the only reason we are watching it is because Audrey Hepburn was in it. Do I wish I picked another movie to be to wrap up our Audrey Hepburn trilogy? Yes.
Wow. I thought I was the one that's be poo-pooing all over it, but dude, you just dropped a big banger all over its face.
I honestly, I'd rather watch the stage play of this, and it does completely play out like you're watching a play. They did. I mean, I'm sure for adapting it, they probably did a good job.
Yeah.
Jeremy Brett, he plays that stalker. If you don't know who Jeremy Brett is, he is my favorite Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever watched, it's a British version of Sherlock Holmes. They do a really good job. Which they actually would have done all the Sherlock Holmes mysteries. They were going to do they got most of them done, and then Jeremy Brett got he got lung cancer, and so they had to wrap the show up earlier than they were expected, and they missed doing all the Sherlock Holmes mysteries by like 3 or 4, so which was a shame. Also his series was the most accurate. But yeah, this My Fair Lady was okay. But like I said, it's like I'm just not a fan of the genre.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I was a musical fan, I probably would have loved it. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Acting, Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Sound, and Best Score. Guess who won Best Actress that year?
Who's that?
Julie Andrews from Harry Potter.
You forgot to mention it won Best Horror Scene with the horse racing song.
See,
Go check it out.
I don't remember, like, what should be bothering me from that, because like you're talking about how it bothered you, and I'm like, and that didn't even stand out to me. What stood out to me was the fact that at the end of the movie, she ends up going back to him with him showing very minimal effort. What he went to go find her.
Yeah.
That's all she wanted, for him to go find her.
Sometimes that's all they want. I mean, sometimes they want you to wear high heels and they want you to interrupt them while you're playing piano in front of a class. Other times they just want you to chase them down.
I guess. I mean, it didn't take much to win her back.
Like, I want to point, I need to point out something to our viewers though. When I say chase them down, I don't mean chase them down in a van, open the door, grab them, cover their mouth with your hand and pull them in. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, it just means like go after her and like have flowers in your hand and say, "Sweetie, I love you," or hold the radio above your head like that classic '80s movie scene that we've seen a billion times.
Yes.
It's so popular that everyone remembers the scene. Nobody remembers what movie it's from, including me.
Say Anything, I think, is the name of it.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so.
Who's the girl in that?
Probably Molly Ringwald. I don't know. I never
Yeah, I
saw
was gonna say it's probably Molly Ringwald then. Yeah, because that's like she was like the girl at that point. So if they read in My Fair Lady, it would be Molly Ringwald and it would be Tiffany doing the singing.
Yeah, so we're gonna find it is I guess Ion Sky.
Who?
Who, I have no idea. That's the name of her. Ion Sky, maybe. Yeah, I think that's the woman. I've never heard that lady.
From what?
For Say Anything.
What about Say Anything?
You want to know the name of the lady that was in it?
Oh.
It wasn't Molly Ringwald.
Oh, okay. It was okay. I know what you mean now. I'm like, huh? I moved on to something else, I thought, and okay, whatever. But
Sorry.
It's okay.
Buzz back to the previous one.
It's funny we keep talking about the '80s.
Uh-huh.
You know, we should wrap this up before we move on. So both of us are kind of giving this a thumbs down.
I would say probably not. This is more like, it's kind of like what I was saying about My Sassy Girl, but in the opposite. It's kind of a maybe, but more of a maybe not. It really, if you're a musical fan, you're probably going to eat this up.
If you've been watching along with us and you want your Audrey Hepburn fixed, watch Roman Holiday, which is probably the movie we should have done. The Roman Holiday is actually really good. And also has been redone numerous times by certain TV shows and movies. Well, once you see the story, you could probably think of times that you've seen it done again. But yeah, this one here, okay.
Yeah. So overall, it's kind of like a should you bother? No, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, if you like musicals, maybe, but it's if you're into musicals enough, this is probably already on your list of movies to go see. Then go ahead and see it. You'll enjoy it if you like musicals. But me and Mike don't like musicals, so.
Yeah. All right, so we moving on to the surprise one.
Yeah. So basically, with the last one, if your favorite thing about the movie is the Belgium girl, then because she's from Belgium, yeah, she's British. Like her parents are British, but she grew up in Belgium. That's why, and that's why, like with Audrey Hepburn, they always have to have a reason she has the accent, because that's why she has the accent. And in this movie, it's because she did a glow up, and it was supposed to be a posh thing that she has this accent, not because she's French is her first language.
Exactly.
All right, this movie, the surprise movie, the movie that you were teasing this week. I saw your little teaser. I went.
It's a tease.
It's a tease. Oh my God.
Do it. Let's do it.
All right, this movie was interesting. Clash of the Titans is a 1981 fantasy adventure film rooted in Greek mythology. It tells the story of Perseus, played by Harry Hamlin, the mortal son of Zeus, played by Laurence Olivier, who embarks on a quest to save Princess Andromeda, played by Judy Boyker. That's her name, Boyker? Judy Boyker. and this sounds like something like a teenager would say for sex.
Judy Boink her?
Boinker. It was
Wow.
Bowker. Bowker. Okay, I'm super proud.
That sounds good.
Judy Bowker from Judy Bowker from the monstrous Kraken. Along the way, he must tame the winged horse Pegasus, defeat the deformed Calibus, and slay the snake-haired Morgan. When I said Morgan, Gorgon.
Morgan Freeman?
Gorgon Freeman, yes. The snake-haired Gorgon Freeman. You can tell it's getting late here. The snake-haired Gorgon Medusa, whose gaze turns men to stone. The film incorporates various mythological characters and creatures while taking creative liberties with the stories, culminating in an epic showdown between man, monster, and the gods of Olympus.
Okay, so Ben, I want to jump in and say something though here. This is your first time watching this movie, right?
Yes,
Okay,
this is a
good,
movie
'cause
I
I only
expect to have I've seen as a child and I have not.
Okay, this because I want to hear what you have to say of it. Watching it now, in 2025.
As a movie that comes off as it should be a kid's film, there's a lot of boobs.
Ooh, that you're getting to where I'm going to go with it. That's interesting.
It's also really cool because one of the cool things that Maggie Smith is in it. Maggie Smith, of course, people will know her from the Harry Potter series. She plays Professor McGonagall. And she recently passed away. She's also on Downton Abbey. She's been in a bunch of movies and stuff. But it was nice to see her younger playing. She played one of the goddesses. She played the sea goddess and Mother Calibus, who sings vengeance against Perseus.
Yeah.
And then you got Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
Burgess Meredith, the guy who trained Rocky, and he's over there now. He's training Perseus. He's like, get in there, Perseus, and give him a left and a right.
Keep in mind, Burgess Meredith is also the guy who coined the phrase "mount her."
This movie, I bought it on high def. I bought it on Blu-ray, so I got it in high definition, and I regretted getting it in high definition because the stop motion animation and some of the compositing for the composite shots are insanely noticeable.
Yeah,
like over the top noticeable, and it's like if I bought it on DVD, I wouldn't see half of this. So that's my recommendation. If you're going to buy the original Clash of the Titans from 1981, get it on DVD, not on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you can get it even on a worse format.
Yeah, get it on
videotape.
Get it on beta.
Get it on Betamax. It's a decent movie. It's fun. It's got, it's easy to follow. You got a hero that you're kind of rooting for, even though he's young. Everything I can say about Percy is he does come off like he's a young, naive. He's like a teenager, where he's like he wants to run off and be with this girl. How many times have we heard a teenager who just wants to run off and be with his girl? So that's his deal, and he ends up losing every single thing that anybody ever gave to him. First, he loses the helmet of invincibility, which was more of a plot device. He needed to be invisible so he can go and so he can see the princess. But after that, they don't need him to be invisible anymore.
They wanted to die at that point. He's done his job. He's out of here.
He's done. Invisible and invincible are two words that when I talk sometimes I confuse them. He doesn't need to be invisible anymore. So as a plot device, they find a way to get the helmet of invisibility away from him, and you never see it again for the rest of the movie, which I was surprised about. I thought it would come back at the end. And then he has the shield, and the shield was like indestructible or something.
I guess so. It just was.
It was a talking shield. I remember that the shield talked. That was weird.
It was just there. It was another plot device so that it's like the video games that you get where you go and get the items and you have to use the items and stuff at one specific location. It's like a Metal Gear of movies.
Yeah, it's like when you get the key. The key only works on one door. That's like that type of thing. Yeah, it's and you can see a lot of how certain there's a video game scene in it when he crosses the river of death, and I'm like, oh my god, if you show him Dracula's heart, it'll take you to a different location. Because I'm like, this is Castlevania 2 right here, man.
I'll take you to a safe place.
It's the first thing I thought of. It's like, it's from Castlevania 2. I wonder if he's got Dracula's heart.
Yeah. Well, he did get Medusa's head. So that's kind of close enough. And Medusa isn't Castlevania's.
Yes. I'm surprised that it still worked after that ugly thing went and stabbed it, and all that blood that formed into scorpions.
Well, it dripped on scorpions. It didn't form into them. It dripped on
Oh,
scorpions.
it dripped on it because all of a sudden, like, there were scorpions and like a bunch of maggots
Yeah.
where it landed. Like, it just maggots just showed up. Like, it's whatever the blood is, it kills everything it touches.
Yeah, except for scorpions.
Except for scorpions. It makes scorpions gigantic and magical.
Exactly. And smart enough to take out humans.
Now, when I bought the Blu-ray, I got it with the remake and with the Wrath of the Titans. With neither one, I haven't watched either one of them. But I was wondering if they would be worth my time. Does it like take on this and build on it and like?
I think I saw the first one, and I didn't think it was as good. It's very much modernized to where it's very like CG actioned. So
yeah, here this was just really bad composite shots. They did the whole thing where like they wanted to show the castle where the princess is at. So like they showed like the bottom part of the screen is the set and the top part of the screen's a picture, but you could tell obviously where the picture starts.
Yeah.
Because you can see the black lines.
Well,
it was really bad compositing. And I'm like, what was their budget? Because this is after Star Wars. And that's how you have to look at this. It's like, well, they didn't really know what they were doing back. This is after Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is after Star Wars. Star Wars, once they did Star Wars is when they mastered all this shit. And that's already happened. In fact, Star Wars 2, The Empire Strikes Back, where they've gotten even better with it, has also already happened.
Well, you mentioned something interesting that I wanted to point out here. Is you mentioned Castlevania. I wonder how much something like this influenced Castlevania.
Oh, God, yeah. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I know exactly where the guy from Castlevania got this from now. I know.
Yes, I mean, if you think about Calabash using the whip and whipping around,
yep.
And the items, it's very. I could see Castlevania pulling a lot of influences from this movie.
Well, if you talk to whoever created Castlevania or the team, at least some of them are going to say that this is one of their favorite movies.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Where they pulled so much from this. I mean, like Medusa. I mean, of course, because Medusa's not one of the universal monsters, and that's pretty much what Castlevania is the universal monster.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's the only one who's not a universal monster. Everybody else is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the Grim Reaper isn't really either, but you know,
Frankenstein is,
the Mummy, Dracula, of course. Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump in now.
Go ahead.
Because I'm going to say this, going back that time, this was our Lord of the Rings. It's that same kind of path. It's that same whole medieval adventure path that's going on. But you actually touched on something that I wanted to point out, because I watched this as a kid and I remember I'm like, ooh, awesome action, fighting Medusa and all that stuff. Watching it now, I realize something, that's the second half of the movie. The first half is a lot of talk with the turmoil with the gods, them going back and forth, and how they're shaping society. And I realize this movie does a really good job. And I would point out Airplane does the same thing, of catering not only to kids, but putting a level for adults to understand. Whereas, I mean, as a kid, I didn't understand the whole, this god who wants this to be done this way, but this god is going to stand, Zeus is going to make the final choice and everything like that. That just was like lost on me. But going back, I'm like, wow, these are all their motives for how everything's playing out. So it does a good job of making itself accessible to anybody. I do think it does suffer from that 80s feel a bit nowadays. where it's just got that super cheese to the story. Where if you like that super cheese that was the 80s love story type of thing, you'll probably eat this up. But I think it is a bit of a strike. Is not a super strike, but it is a bit of a strike. But we gotta talk about we're talking about how kind of bad the style is compared to being after Star Wars. But we gotta talk about the Kraken, because the Kraken was awesome. For 1981, what they did with that Kraken was amazing.
It was the Kraken is just it's just the creature from the Blue Lagoon. He's just like he's a creature that's been used before in like comic books and other stuff. They just repurposed the costume, and now it's the Kraken.
But it's still awesome. And I don't know if you probably don't know this, but I was hoping to bring Matt on this episode because Matt loved the Clash of the Titans. And when he was a kid, there was actually a Kraken toy that you could get. Now there's also some other figures. He had the Kraken toy, and what you could do, it was actually pretty big. And there was a button you could click and the Kraken would fall apart. Just like how it shattered when Medusa saw it. So it's a really interesting toy. So you could probably, look that up, and probably on spelling on YouTube for like $700 nowadays.
Yeah, all that stuff you got rid of when you were a kid, it's all worth money now.
Oh, absolutely. So, but I mean, it does irk me that he got all those items and then they all got cast away. I can understand the helmet being lost, but he was sitting there staring at the shield. He could have went and pulled the shield out, but he's like, well, it guarded my life, so I guess I don't need it anymore. Dude, I was still taking that shield and kept it.
Yeah, he's just like that's the whole thing of me calling him a teenager again. He has absolutely no respect for anything that anybody gave to him. He doesn't take care of anything.
Dude, he just wanted some action, and that's all.
Yeah, he just wants to bang the princess. Like I said, he's a teenager.
Yeah. And at the end of the movie, they're like, and they had many babies together or whatever. Well, yeah, that's because that's all he was after, man.
Yeah. How's he gonna pay for all those kids? We can work at McDonald's?
That's a good point. I don't even. Maybe he invented McDonald's. Maybe he is Ray Kroc in disguise.
Yeah, he's a cracker, right?
So, on that note, do you have anything else to add on this one?
I do kind of recommend it. Yeah, cause like for 80s movies that I've never seen before, like this, like so I don't have the nostalgia factor telling me like, oh, I remember watching this as a kid, and I don't. I actually think it was good. Was a good story. I don't remember the last time I ever finished watching a kids movie being disappointed that I only saw side boob from the princess.
Mm.
I'm like, is she gonna turn all the way around? Are we gonna see these things?
But you saw her butt. I mean,
And you know who copied that?
compromise, I guess, Ben.
There's that scene of her coming out of the bathtub and all that. That is that gets bitten off directly by Game of Thrones. It's like in the very first episode of Game of Thrones, they have a scene that's almost exactly like that.
Gotcha.
With the who ends up being the Khaleesi, coming out of the bathtub. And her, you get to see her boobs multiple times in that show.
Gotcha.
I'm like, you're watching this, like, isn't this a kid's film?
Yeah. So the lesson is, if the scenes in Clash of the Titans didn't do it for you, move to Game of Thrones, which is probably also heavily influenced by Clash of the Titans.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Game of Thrones is like, and if you've never seen Game of Thrones, have you seen Game of Thrones?
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
I recommend watching everything except for the last season.
Yeah, I've heard the last season is not so good.
Yeah, it's an example of when they just screw it up. Look at this cast list though. Laurence Olivier.
Oh. Yeah.
Wow. Burgess Meredith, Maggie Smith. Yeah, there's some heavy hitters in this movie.
Yeah, there are.
The Kraken.
And I'm surprised that we didn't mention anything, but I wonder how much influences may have taken from the Bible too, even though it's a movie about Greek gods, because if you take a look at how it began with them putting the baby and the mother in the box and setting it out, it kind of reminds me of the story of Moses. But like a darker way.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
I took a college course on philosophy and I quit after like the first week, and it was because the whole class was going to be about Greek mythology.
yeah.
And I'm like, I give two shits about any Greek mythology. I don't believe in any other shit. So why should I not have to know? Why should I have to know about it?
I got to mention one thing I loved about this movie is the part where he loses his helmet and he turns to the one lady and says, "Well, give him your owl," and she's like, "Hell no!" And then she goes and makes a robot owl, which you got to admit that robot owl is like the star of the movie.
Yeah, the robot owl. See, in watching this movie, we were talking about. We talked a little bit about Return to Oz. You got to watch Return to Oz now.
Okay.
So that'll be down the road, folks. Maybe we'll do we'll compare some of the Oz movies. I was thinking about doing that one. We would do like a week of Oz. We would do Return of Oz, or we do first Oz the Great and All Powerful, the Wizard of Oz, and then Return to Oz.
Mm.
And then we'll do we'll compare them and do Should You Bother, which will probably I can already answer the question for you. Watch the Wizard of Oz and fuck the other two movies. But
Well, if you're watching the not Wizard of Oz, I guess that is what you're doing for that one.
Because like the Wizard of Oz is a classic. It's my favorite musical of all time, which shows how many musicals I've watched. And the other two, I haven't watched Oz the Great and the All Powerful, but the Return of Oz, it's got a lot of similar animatronic effects that they use in Clash of the Titans.
Uh-huh.
But it's also a completely horrifying movie for a child to watch.
Gotcha.
It's a kid's film and it's horrifying. It's not even scary. It's horrifying.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, so that will be definitely one that we're gonna have to put on here to watch.
And like I said, the Oz Great and All Powerful, I heard it wasn't that good, but I've never seen it. It's got Mila Kunis and some other people in it.
And I mentioned this one, but what about Tin Man? Have you seen Tin Man?
No, I haven't seen Tin Man. And there's also like The Wiz. I was just thinking about the Oz, the Great and All Powerful, and Return of Oz because they're both Disney films.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Disney, I did some research. At one point, Walt Disney himself offered to buy the rights to The Wizard of Oz from MGM, and they told him to pound sand.
Wow.
So Disney has always wanted The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And they've tried multiple times to make their own version, and they haven't made one yet. They made versions of the Oz movies, but they haven't made their own version of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
All right.
So anything left on Clash of the Titans? Or maybe we should say, maybe at this point we should say, should you bother with Clash of the Titans?
I would say yes.
I am an absolute yes for that one as well too.
There's a lot of references that you'll catch that like, oh, I know another movie or game that used this. Like I said, with the Castlevania 2 thing, as soon as I saw the boat, even the way the guy's on the boat,
yeah,
the skeleton on the boat, even the way it was dressed and everything, it was exactly the same as from Castlevania 2.
Exactly. This movie is I think a 2-hour movie, and I'm just gonna say it's still to this day just a fun adventure just to watch, and it goes by a lot faster than.
I'm glad you said that. So it's an hour and 57 minutes, and I remember watching it, and it felt to me like the first 20 minutes kind of went a little too. They kind of dragged a little bit, and that's when they're talking about all the politics and shit.
Yeah.
Once you're past that, all of a sudden, like time just flew by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a sign that's a great sign for a movie. You want a 2-hour movie to feel like it went on for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they kind of got that formula down.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's certain stuff that pull you out of it for a second when you notice the black lines around the statue. Because like I said, the bad composite. But once you get over that, it's like, it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I do want to admit, I kind of want to see Calidus before he mutated.
They show him after he dies.
Oh, they do. Okay, I have to go back and see that then. I don't remember.
Got like a full beard, and he looks like a bearded man.
Okay.
Handsome, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
She was in love with him before he got turned into some devil creature.
Yeah, and to quote Army of Darkness, "You did love me before, honey. You got really ugly now." I'm sure that somebody's gonna put a comment like, "That's not the exact line."
That'd be nice if we got comments like that. I remember my favorite is when I mispronounce the name of the director. I get corrected on it every single time now.
Well, you did mispronounce the name of the lady in this movie, so you'll probably get some comments back on that one.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's like a comment's a comment, you know. Who was it? There was one of these YouTubers. It was this guy. He goes, "Oh, here's a powerful website you should know,"
Mm.
and he'll say that, and then he'll mispronounce the name of Google or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And somebody was asking him, like, why do you do that? And he's like, because every time I mispronounce something, I get 10 people in the comment section telling me how to pronounce it correctly. And comments do great for the algorithm.
Yeah.
So he's doing it all on purpose. And every one of his videos, if you ever watch his videos, every single one of them, he pronounces something wrong.
So people, if you're interested in any of these movies, we highly recommend going to www.google.com and looking them up.
That's actually how he pronounced it too. He did say,
Yeah, that's actually how my father-in-law pronounced it as well, Google.
Google.
Yeah, it is. That was really funny because he's talking about the Amazon truck, because you know how the Google car.
Yep.
So whenever the Amazon truck goes by, he's like, "Oh, it's Google."
Google. And so, yeah, I recommend. So the movies we recommend going to see is My Sassy Girl.
Your sassy guile about Street Fighter 2 characters that give you attitude.
Yes, with AOC is one of the selectable characters. I said some comment about her, and it was funny because I got a friend of mine to like just light up and start laughing when I said this. I went like, yeah, AOC, man, she's lucky she's pretty because she's stupid.
Wow.
True, she's lucky she's pretty because she's stupid. Yeah, so do see My Sassy Girl, and we also recommend seeing Clash of the Titans.
Yes, that's probably a porno name actually.
Clash of the Tits.
You might want to be careful because you know there's somebody who's gonna Google that one.
You're to Google your Titans.
So yes, go see those, but I guess we don't recommend seeing My Fair Lady at all.
Yeah, like I said, with My Fair Lady, if it was already on your list because you're huge into musicals, but yeah, otherwise, it's not a horrible movie. There's good parts to it. There's parts that are funny. It's just you could spend your time watching a better film.
Yeah, you know what's going to be heartbreaking is now the number of subscribers we lose that are all My Fair Lady fans. So if we see a drop, we probably made them all angry.
What's that?
If we do see a drop in the numbers, we probably just made them all angry.
Actually, you know what? We get a lot of views on these classic films because people have never seen them, and this is their way of seeing like, should I watch Casablanca? Should I watch My Fair Lady? And they can watch our review and be like, nope, don't need to watch My Fair Lady, but I definitely need to go see Casablanca.
See, I'd be disturbed if people are doing that, going, should I watch Not the Wizard of Oz? Then we got problems.
I can't believe they took on my other channel. They gave me a copyright strike and called it porn. I'm like, there's no porn in this. They're like, even the part they showed me, like, this is the part we got to complain about. And I'm like, but there's no porn.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. She's saying something stupid, but it's at the end of the video, and the rules of the video thing is always the first 30 seconds. That's not the first 30 seconds. What do you care? At that point, you're watching it. You want to watch it to the end. I think we're done with this movie, and I think it is time to wrap it up.
Yep. So, I was gonna give Matt the last word tonight, but since Matt's not here,